And welcome to the Charlotte Business Podcast, also known as the CLT Biz Pod. I'm your host, Ashley Boti. I'm the CEO of B2 Financial Group, a vibrant and virtual tax firm, as well as the co-founder of B2FG University Tax Academy. Thank you for tuning in. The CLT Biz Pod was created to showcase the vibrant entrepreneurial spirit and diverse business landscape of Charlotte, North Carolina. We aim to inform, inspire, unite, and uplift our viewers and listeners by providing valuable insights and stories from local entrepreneurs, business leaders, and innovators like my very special next guest, who's here with us today. So before we get into the interview, I want to share where you can listen and watch all of our episodes. For your listening pleasure, Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Spotify, and anywhere else podcasts are being distributed. For your viewing pleasure, you can catch full episodes on YouTube. So today's guest has been a professional storyteller for more than 25 years as an actor, director, coach, and voiceover professional working in film, television, theater, podcasts, corporate and event hosting, stand-up comedy, and improvisation. His superpowers are connection, empathy, and meeting people exactly where they are on their speaking journey. So joining us is Brian LaFontaine of Brian LaFontaine Coaching. Hey, Brian.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I really appreciate you having me, Ashley. That's a fantastic introduction.
Yes.
I sound really impressive.
You are. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Yeah, of course. What's going on?
Yes, perfect. So can you share with us a little bit of your journey from actor and storyteller to public speaking?
Oh my gosh. Sure. We could be here for hours. That's a long story. I've been a professional actor for over 30 years, and I have performed in front of every type of audience that you can imagine. You know, I'm assuming you want to keep this more of a PG type show, so I won't make the joke that I normally make. Yeah, I started out doing stand-up comedy, and like you said in your intro, and I actually went to school. I went to Catawba College in Salisbury, North Carolina, and got my degree in communications, which I had no idea where that was going to take me. And I really there was no real intention behind it, because I went to college on a very small golf scholarship. Because Catawba, I don't know if you're familiar with Catawba College in Salisbury, really small school. And this was way back in the late 1900s, and their program was really, really young, and they just needed people to fill the space. So they're like, we're going to take this guy. We don't even know if he's any good. I was not that good. My athletic career in college sports only lasted a year. My sophomore year, they were like, you're done. So they kicked me off the team. They took my scholarship back, because I had intended to pursue the golf profession from I'm going to teach lessons standpoint. Mm-hmm. So it was advised to me by another golf pro that I knew. He was like, you should study communications, because you're going to have to talk to people. Mm-hmm. And it was the major with the least amount of required hours to graduate. So I went, okay, this sounds great. Right. That's a great idea. And that's why I majored in communications, and it focused primarily on speech communications. I still had no idea that it was going to take me to where I've ended up after all these years. I didn't go to school to be an actor. After I lost my scholarship, I started doing stand-up comedy. And so stand-up comedy led to me doing theater, which led to me doing film and television and getting an agent and voiceover work and all the on-camera work that I've done for the past 3+ decades. And over the course of my career as an actor, and an artist in any capacity, but as an actor especially, there's not one day where we have job security. Right. I was doing a talk for a group of people last week, and of course, they always want me to touch on my experience as an actor. And it says, yes, while I am a professional actor, what I really am is a professional job interviewee. Mm. There really has not been a day in my career, honestly, where I have not been trying to get a new job. Mm-hmm. That's what we do. There's no job security. You never know from one day to the next if you're going to get work. Mm-hmm. So there's always been that, unknown of, is this the end? Mm-hmm. And if it is the end, now what do I do? What am I qualified to do if no one's going to cast me ever again?
Right.
If this last acting job was the last acting job. And I've, wondered about it for years. And a very good friend of mine, my sister-in-law, basically, said, you should think about offering your services as a public speaking coach. And it was just one of those, like, oh my God, I could do that tomorrow.
Right.
Like, it was such an easy transition, so to speak, just in this, not realizing that same skill set that I've been using as an actor for all these years actually works in another non-entertainment environment. And people in the professional world really have a need for it. Especially now, more and more people are having to speak, whether it's in front of large groups of people or similar to this, when you're doing your own podcast and you guys got this fantastic setup where you're on camera, and most people are not used to that the same way that that's all I've done, is I've worked in a medium like this my entire career. Most people have not. And it's becoming more and more the norm. So to realize that I can actually take my skill set and offer it to help people get better at, things like this, or speaking on a stage where it is more of a performance, because as you can see, everybody's trying to get their message out and have their story be told. So I'm just trying to help.
Absolutely. I love it. I think what I love most about even just hearing your story is it's almost full circle.
Yes.
Like, you went to school for communication and had no idea where you were going to take it. And now look at you.
I know.
It's amazing.
It was a really interesting thing. Like, I never even thought about it from just a general speaking standpoint. Being from Rhode Island, New England, when I first came down to North Carolina, you can imagine people that I went to school with, they were like, you talk funny, because I wouldn't say my R's. I had that very heavy New England Northeastern accent. I was parking the car and, playing basketball. And, so the sound of my voice really did stand out. So my communications major, as I said, focused heavily on speech communications and interpersonal communications. So over the 4 years of my college experience, I was able to learn how to talk all over again, to the point where I remember I went home for either for Christmas break or summer break during school, and my father, who still holds on dearly to his Rhode Island accent, said, listen to him saying his R's. It's just one of those things where it's like I didn't even realize that my voice had actually transformed into this sort of standard American non-regional sound, which fit in very nicely in the commercial world.
Absolutely.
And all of this stuff was new experience for me. I didn't know that any of these things were an option. So when my agents or other people in the business were saying, hey, you could be a good fit here, they can use it here, it was like, and this could be a potential living, who knew? So it was really a very much a learning as you go sort of experience. It was not something that I was connecting the dots thoughtfully along the way. It really, looking back, it really does feel like I had to be led or either stumbled into these opportunities where this skill set just really fit well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's super awesome. So what inspired you, and I guess we kind of touched on that, what inspired you to start your coaching business? So how long did it take you? So from, now saying, okay, I could actually start this tomorrow, to actually starting.
Well, I mean, it just depends on how you want to define starting. If you're talking about just trying to put the wheels in motion, it was almost instantaneous.
Nice.
But as far as booking clients and actually, getting paid to do it, that takes a little bit of time because I had no real connections or relationships outside of the entertainment industry, which, for some people might look at it and be like, how is that possible? You did all this commercial work for all these different companies or banks or whatever it may be, and you never were able to establish, relationships. Things are different now than they used to be. Back in the old days, in the entertainment world, this was before social media, before Facebook. I'm dating myself. And as the talent, you would, get booked for a job. You show up, you hang out over there. They call you when they need you. You don't really talk to the client unless they're complimenting you and you're like, hi, thanks for having me. You weren't exchanging phone numbers or information with the client after. As a matter of fact, that was pretty much frowned upon. But now with social media and the way that the professional world works now, you have to establish those relationships. You've got to make that effort to reach as many people as possible, because it's there's so much competition now. You've got to have those relationships are more important now than they ever have been. So when I first started, I was, I felt really behind as far as where the professional spectrum had evolved to. And I had to feel like I had to play catch up in some way, because I didn't know anyone. I had no one to really call or to connect with. So that's when I had to start going to networking events and navigate those waters, and let people introduce me to people, and just like sitting down and having conversations. I've had more coffee dates in the last 2 years than I've ever had in my life, just to get to know people. And it's been that whole building process of getting to know people, and whether they're a potential client or they can connect you to someone who might be able to connect you to someone else. It's very much a 6 degrees of separation type of building process. So at the moment, the public speaking business is a lot like the acting business, where it's like, I get a private client here. I offer a workshop here. Somebody asked me to come and speak over here. It's been a slow build. The first year there was very, very little. This is my second year doing it. It's been almost 2 years since I started it, and there's been a significant change since then. It's still not consistent and truly full time, because I still have my acting career as well, and it's been that interesting balancing act of seeing where the public speaking and public speaking coaching business is going to go, and being truly open to where it might lead.
Right.
But still, I'm not ready to give up being an actor yet. I mean, I've been doing it too long, and I love it too much, and I've had, a tremendous amount of success, knock on wood, relatively speaking, and I'm not ready for it to be done yet, so I'm hoping that there's more to come.
Right. Well, I hope so too. And I think that's the beautiful thing of balancing entrepreneurship, because you can do them both, right? And you can do it on your terms.
Yes.
So that's the beautiful thing about it.
I'm hoping. Right. I'm hoping. It's a lot of work. It's a lot more work than I was anticipating.
It's so funny. We work with clients all the time, me as an accountant, and everyone's just like, man, being a business owner is so much harder than it looks.
Yes. Yeah. I never had to pursue any of this stuff before, because I always had people behind the scenes working for me. I had agents who it was their job to get me the audition opportunities, and then it was my job to just show up and perform, to be as prepared as I could be and do that. I didn't have to worry about establishing those relationships and making those connections. They were the ones going, you need to see Brian, you need to see Brian. And I just had to sit back and watch cartoons until the phone rang. So it's a really, really different animal now. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm probably working more now. I'm putting in more hours now than I ever have. And, once you get to a certain age, it's like, isn't it supposed to be going the other way? Or I'm supposed to be working less? And I'm actually working more now than I ever did. So,
And the beautiful part of it is you'll work more now to build, so that later you could work less.
That's what we're hoping for. A lot of people have been saying the same thing. So that's what I'm hoping happens.
Yes. Yeah. I'll say the first 3 years, you're going to work. You're going to work.
Okay.
But then there will be a switch, because you put in so much work that now people know your name. And then it's gonna feel like the actor world, where now you're going to be mentioned in rooms, and
it's interesting when that happens, when you get messages or somebody shouts you out on social media that you weren't expecting, or someone says, a lot of people have been talking about you. Your name's been coming up a lot. And I'm thinking, really? Are you sure? Yeah.
My name? But no, that happens. Absolutely. So what are some of the most common challenges that people face with public speaking, and how do you help them overcome them?
Oh my gosh. I think, it's pretty obvious. The one that most people, the biggest challenge for most people is just that anxiety and fear of public speaking, being in front of an audience, whether it's an audience of one or an audience of hundreds, because there's a lot of unknown elements, in that experience. The biggest one being that you have no idea what the person who's listening to you is thinking. Even right now, you and I have never met before today. I have no idea truly what you're thinking about what I'm saying. I have no control how you're going to respond to what I'm saying, and I can't worry about that.
Right.
All I can do is show up and try and share with you what I have to share, and hope that it's something that you find useful and helpful and productive, and hopefully, in some way will help you look at the concept of the idea of public speaking and see it a little as something that's a little bit more manageable and not so overwhelming. The other part of that is that most people don't think that anyone's interested in what they have to say. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. Yeah, we do. We really do.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a perfect example. Look at all the podcasts that are out there, all the stories that are being told right now, all the streaming services. You got, Netflix, Hulu, you've got so many options of documentaries, movies, TV shows. We cannot get enough of hearing other people's stories. When I talk about it, giving talks, or even when working with clients, I say we love hearing stories about people who are as screwed up, if not more screwed up than we are.
And
we love
that's so
it
true.
because it helps us to feel less alone. Those are the things that connect us and remind us of all the things that we have in common. So we do want to hear from you. That's why you've asked me to be here today. You want to hear from me. So it's getting people to wrap their heads around that idea that they do have something to share and that they do have something to offer. Because it doesn't matter if the entire room walks away with their minds blown. If you can do that, great. Man, if you can get one person to have something resonate with them of like, I never thought about it that way, or that really helped me, or, I want to talk to you more after this is over, then your job is done. You've accomplished what you set out to do because you have no control over how the response is going to be. The only thing that you can do is show up as prepared as possible and share as openly as you can with the people that you're speaking to and hope that it's something that they can use.
Absolutely. No, that's a great point. Awesome. That even makes me think about college. So I had 2 public speaking classes in college, and when I was younger, my mom, she put me into acting classes. So,
there you go. Yeah.
So, and I went to Northwest School of the Arts. I majored in drama, and I didn't realize in that class, I was so confident. And I think there's some connection with the drama world and then transcending into public speaking. You just, because you perform,
absolutely,
there's just this natural ability.
Invaluable.
Right.
Yes.
And so it was like seeing other people just kind of freak out, and I'm like, no, I'm kind of ready. Let's go.
Yep. Because, if you've worked in acting or performing of any kind, you know that anything can go sideways at any moment. And when it does, you have to find a way to just keep going through it, and knowing that, again, the old adage of the show must go on. So let's clean up this mess as smoothly as possible without making a big deal out of it, and just keep going. Just keep going. Did you know Dennis Delamar by any chance when you were at Northwest School of the Arts?
I don't remember that.
Okay. I think he was an English teacher. He was there forever, and he was one of the guys, I think he ended up being Teacher of the Year one year. And I don't know what years you were there or when you graduated, but yeah, Dennis is another local actor and taught there forever. I'm sure there are probably a lot more people that we have in common that I don't even know about.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there, I want to say 2002 to 2005.
I think he was still there during that time. Anyway, Mr. Delamar. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't interrupt.
No, you're
Continue.
Fine.
You're doing great.
So, as a storyteller, how do you incorporate storytelling techniques into your public speaking coaching?
Thank you for that question. That's a great question, and no one's asked it in that way because I one of the things that I tell people is that you have far more in you worth sharing than you can even begin to imagine. Just about every experience that you have can be turned into a story and connected to the people that you're talking to in some way. We've all had a lot of similar experiences, shared experiences, and it's just finding the right opportunity or opening, which comes from listening and engaging with your audience, not making it, if I'm the speaker, I need to make it about you and not about myself. I need to try and find out about you. And then based on your reactions, your responses, how you and I engage with each other, then that's going to help stimulate. It reminds me of this story. It reminds me of this experience based off of things that you say. So you can, if you're giving an actual TED style talk where you're the keynote speaker, of course, as you're crafting your speech, you can always find great places. Oh, this is a great place to put this story. It's a great place to put this story. When you're doing it in more of an engaged conversation, which is what how I like to approach public speaking more, it's, turning your presentation into more of a conversation. Because it's not about me standing up there and being the smartest person in the room. Everyone step back and watch how brilliant I'm about to be. Shh, everyone listen to what I'm saying. No, I'm there for you. So while I've prepared things to share with you, I still have no idea what your experience is. I don't know where you're coming from. I don't know, what you don't know, where the gaps are for you, what you truly need help with. So I'm going to ask questions to try and stimulate responses from you and find those opportunities to share my experience, to connect with you. Again, so that you and I can find that connective thread in some way so that you can go, this guy gets me. He understands me. So I had somebody ask me that recently, how many stories should I prepare? And it's like, I don't know if you can necessarily prepare stories because you have no idea how the other person is going to respond or what they're going to say. Now, you can prepare stories. The flip side of that is that you can prepare your stories. The best way to make sure that you can get them in there is to ask a question to the other person where you know it's going to leave you an opening to tell your story. For example, just a broad one, what's your greatest professional success? That's going to lead you to answer me, and it's going to give me the opportunity to find mine was this, and now we've got this, yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's a lot of tricks. It's a lot of tricks and manipulation.
Yeah, I like that. Because, even as an entrepreneur myself, and I have consultation with clients, that's a great way to lead into, as we're having a consultation, I'm trying to get to know you and how I can help you.
Right.
That's awesome. I love that.
I try.
Genius stuff. See, I'm learning here today too. Perfect. So how do you approach coaching clients with different backgrounds, from corporate professionals to entrepreneurs?
It's all personally based. I get this question on a semi-regular basis because, and please know, I'm not calling out people in the corporate world and saying that you're all the same. I'm really not. Because I think everybody tries to cater to a client that suits them the best. And because I come from a more creative background and profession, then I'm going to approach it differently. So I don't have a set methodology or structure because each person is different. Each individual is different. Just like you said, actually, the way that you set it up, it might be someone who's an executive in the C-suite level. It might be someone who's looking to do a keynote speech. It might be someone who's just leading meetings and they're in middle management. It could just be someone who needs one-on-one interpersonal skills. Everyone is different. So I'm going to find out about you and what your goals are and what your experience is to this point, because I'm not going to try and step one. I'm not going to take you through step one. If you're like, Brian, I got step one. I already got it. Okay. I got step 1 through 4. So I'm not going to waste your time and condescend to you and say, actually, no, but you haven't learned it the way that I teach it. No, I'm going to take you from where you are and try and move you to where you want to go.
Awesome.
I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I love it. Awesome. Alrighty. So we're going to get into the business side of things here. So what is the biggest challenge in starting your coaching business, and how did you overcome it?
I don't know if I have overcome it yet. I really don't think I have, because I don't quite fit the corporate model, the traditional corporate model. So I think a lot of people that I have a lot of interesting conversations once people find out that I have an acting background and a performance background, because it's so different from the corporate and professional world that sparks a lot of interest, because it is so different. It is so unique. But because I don't have a set, follow these 5 steps and you'll be a wonderful public speaker. When I get that question of, what is your methodology? Who is your ideal client? Give me your 30-second pitch. What's your sales approach? What is your marketing approach? All of this stuff is completely new to me. My brain doesn't work in that way. Or what are your goals for Q1? What's Q1? Because I've been an actor for so long, and the entire career is based on unknowns, no guarantees, total uncertainty, that I can never really set those tangible goals for myself. It's not like I can say, I'm going to book 3 movies this year. I might not have 3 auditions this year. I have no idea. So there's no way that I can really set those goals for myself in that respect, from a financial standpoint, moving my career along and getting this level of clients or income or earnings, whatever it might be, because it's never been that way. There's no guarantees. It's been more of I'm going to focus on the work that I'm capable of doing, the things that I can control, and hope that it produces some kind of an outcome. Again, it goes back to, I have no idea how you're going to respond. For example, right now, when I go to the networking events, I'm still going through the sort of feeling it out of, is this a good room for me to be in, or is it not a good room for me to be in? It is really, I don't know what your experience is like. I'm sure you probably feel that there's kind of a roll of the dice element to it, of going like, let's see what this one's going to be like. And like, okay, this was fun. No need for me to come back. Right. Just because it doesn't, it's not a place where I fit what they're looking for, or the type of clientele that are hanging out here, So it's finding the places that finding the rooms that really are going to respond to how I do things and see the value in my approach to it.
Absolutely.
So that just takes time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think too, like that's the part of entrepreneurship that's so difficult, I feel like, is because, just whatever background you come from. Like for me personally, I came from a corporate background. And that transition to an entrepreneur mindset is so different.
Yes.
It's so different.
Right.
And so when we jumped full time into entrepreneurship, we thought it was going to be really easy. And it was like, no, you need to know who your target client is. And I ran from that for so long until I realized, like, you can't run.
And did you guys go into it like just head first, right into the deep end, and you're like, we need this to work? It's very much sink or swim.
Very much.
Did you really?
We did. We did.
So it becomes even more challenging and desperate because you need that one thing to be successful. Exactly. My struggle with that is that I still have my acting career, and I'm not looking to get rid of that. So part of the obstacles for me right now is, like I had said earlier, is trying to find out the balance and how it is going to go, because I want to continue being an actor. Absolutely. I've got a lot of other friends, obviously, who have started their own business and are entrepreneurs, and they're in it just like you guys are, where you're in body and soul, and we need this to work, or we're in big trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, but that's the beautiful thing, that you're not there, because it's a little challenging.
Exactly. That's why I have tremendous admiration and respect for the people who are taking that leap, like fully taking that leap. Yeah. So I guess that's a big, it might be a little bit of a setback for me in that I'm not 100% in, because I still have this other thing going on, as well at the same time. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And we started that way. So we both worked corporate, and then we had our accounting business on the side. And so my husband, like when we did jump in, it was after COVID, because my husband lost his job during COVID. They let everyone go.
Yeah.
And then I still had mine, but I saw what he was doing, and I was like, okay, I want to come full time as well. And so we made that jump, and sometimes we're like, because that first year was really hard, and sometimes we're like, was that a bad decision? I'm like, no, we had to make that jump, or we would have stayed comfortable. We would have stayed, charging less, because we charged very little, because we didn't have to charge a lot. Now it's like, we got to make a living. We have to. Yep. We got to charge what everyone else is charging, or somewhere in that space. We had to figure out our messaging. We had to figure out our branding, and it was like, okay, so if we did not take that full jump, it would have taken us a lot longer to figure these things out and to be where we are. So, I just say that to say, like, you're in a good space. Don't feel like, you have to.
I appreciate that.
You know what I mean?
I appreciate that.
So, and it might take a little longer, but I think that's fine, because that lets you control how you built this thing.
So let me ask you, how did you deal with the seed planting and the time that it took? Like, did you go through those periods where you're like, I'm connecting with this person, we're taking the steps, we're doing all that marketing and promoting and, social media stuff, and we're not getting anything back? How did you survive through that?
I think I started asking questions. I'm like, okay, what are we doing wrong? Because clearly we're doing something wrong. I'm like, we're doing all the things that people are saying to do. And it started to be really finding a coach. I think the coaching in the mentoring space is so helpful.
Sure.
Because we found a coach that kind of pointed out, like, what exactly we were doing wrong. And she was like, well, you don't focus on any money generating activities. And I was like, money generating activities? Okay, this is new.
Right.
Sounds interesting. You know, she had me run down my day, and my day was just filled with client work. And it was like, well, how are you going to get more clients if you're only focused on your client or going to this one networking event or that event? How are you going to find your people? They're not coming to you. Because I had this misconception that if I just post on social media that I am an accountant, people are going to come to me.
They'll find me. They'll find me.
They know what I do.
Right. I mean, look at my posts. They're beautiful.
Look at my posts. You know, look at my pictures. They're lovely.
I got 27 likes.
Right.
And 25 of them are my friends.
Exactly. And that's that too, is like thinking, I remember I was that year that we took that leap, I kept marketing to my friends or to people that, you know, my social media people, and I'd get frustrated because everybody's cheering me on and they love it and they're so excited, but nobody's buying anything. Nobody's booking a consultation. And it was in talking to that coach that it was like, those aren't your people. You're talking to the wrong people. And then I'm like, half these people don't even have businesses. So clearly.
And that's still one of the challenges for me with social media, is reminding myself that my social media stuff is not for my friends in the network. And it's like, this isn't for them. So don't worry about that type of response. And then that's a hard thing to wrap your head around and to feel comfortable with and to trust and have some faith in. You know, I'm a little older than you guys, so the whole social media thing is still really new to me. I actually hired a wonderful marketing person who helps me with the social media, thank God, because I'd be completely lost without it. You know, it changes so quickly.
It does.
Yeah. And I don't have the brain to figure out how it works. I really don't.
It's like every time you figure out this one thing and you're doing it and it's working, whoop, switch it.
Yep. So it keeps you on your toes for sure.
Absolutely. Well, awesome. Alrighty. So how do you market? So since we're on that, how do you market and how do you stand out in this competitive field of public speaking?
It's a great question. Again, because of my acting background and the fact that I've done it for so long, the idea of like sitting down and cold calling is not something that comes naturally. Doing traditional marketing and promotion is not something that comes naturally. I have been told, I'm trying to get better at this. I'm gonna do my best, people, to say this without sounding arrogant and still embracing what I do with, some sense of confidence. I have been told that my personality is a big part of my selling point. And letting people see that is probably going to be one of the strongest tools that I have to market and promote myself. So right now, as far as social media promotion, we only focus on two different platforms. Instagram and LinkedIn are the two biggest ones that we focus on. And the rest of it is me showing up at networking events and just really talking to people and engaging with people and letting my personality, my sense of humor, the way that I'm able to disarm people in a conversation. So if you and I meet and you're really uncomfortable, I'm going to do everything that I can to make you feel comfortable and be like, you don't have to worry about me. We can actually talk, and I get that this is weird, and I'm not going to put any pressure on you whatsoever. There's no way for you to make a mistake or look foolish. And once people, catch on to that, it becomes easier, and, they're usually pretty appreciative that I have a sense of humor that I'm willing to use. In a nutshell, I'm a good date.
Right.
I'm a good first date, I'm going to show up to try and have a fun experience and to share that with the people that I'm talking to. And again, hope that it resonates with them. And in a lot of cases, it does. You know, I don't try to be the smartest person in the room. I don't try to be the authority. I don't try to tell people, no, what you're doing is wrong, or whoever is advising you is wrong. It's like, no, if that's working for you, that's great. If you want to talk to me more about what I'm doing, I'm happy to do it, but I'm just as interested in you. And a lot of people don't do that.
They don't.
You can probably attest to going into a networking event or going into a room and someone is whipping out their business card before they even say their name to you, or trying to pitch themselves to you before they even make a connection with you. So that actual human, genuine, sincere, engaging connection is something that I've been able to build for all those years as an actor, because I have to incorporate myself into my work, authentically incorporate myself, not this, you get the whole, what's the character like? What's the character? And yeah, I always understand that mindset, but 99 times out of 100, the character is me.
Right.
It's a version of me. It's a part of me. It's me accessing that part of myself that I want to share with the audience. We all have the ability to go all over the emotional spectrum. We all have dark times. We all have, sunshiny times. We're happy. We're sad. We're conflicted. We're, confused, depressed, angry, joyous. It's just what's going to be appropriate to share in this moment that's going to help tell this story. So I can do that a little bit more easily and accessibly and quickly than most people, because they feel, especially in the professional world, that, well, I have to have this professional persona and facade or whatever it might be, because I'm either representing my company or my brand, and I need to appeal to as many people as possible, and I don't want to put anybody off, because who knows, that could be an opportunity. And again, to me, that goes back to, I have no control over how you're going to respond, so why shouldn't I just be who I am to the best of my ability and hope that you and I can connect in some way? I'm going to make every effort to try and connect with you and help you. And if you can use it, great. If not, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I had to learn that in my acting career. When I auditioned for any job, doesn't matter how big or small it is, this is not an exaggerated number. It's me and 1,000 people.
Right.
Yeah. So only one person can get the job. And there are probably dozens or hundreds of people who could do it really, really well. How do they choose? So again, all I can do is say, here's what I've got to share. If you want to use it, great. If not, then you need somebody else, and that's okay. There's nothing I can do about that.
Right.
And we're going to move on to the next one.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think bringing yourself and trying to make that connection first before even, hey, so this is what I do, here's my card.
Right.
I think that, you catch more flies that way.
Yes,
you do. Know what I mean? That
more
saying,
flies with honey?
More flies with honey.
Yes.
That's the saying. That's what I was looking for.
Yep.
So I would definitely say continue that, because, you will find more success that way than those people that's just handing out that card, or because it just feels like, you're only here for one thing.
Right.
You only, you're trying to just get clients and that's it.
Yeah.
But building that connection, it's like we're actually building something, So
I guess I gave you a very long answer to say I need to just put myself in front of as many people as possible, or to continue like what I do as an actor and get in front of an audience as much as I can in order to best promote myself. That's my best promotion. That's my best promotional material. Thank God for editing.
Right. It's okay. Awesome. So I guess on the flip side, as an entrepreneur, what's been the most rewarding aspect of running your business?
It's going to sound cliche, but it's true, which is why I do it in the first place. And it's helping somebody else succeed. There's nothing better than that. I've been in the spotlight, for lack of a better term, or, been given the opportunity to be the center of attention for decades, and it's wonderful. And I know what that feels like when you succeed in front of an audience and when they appreciate what you're doing. And to help somebody else have that experience who either hasn't had it or hasn't been successful having it, or have been afraid to put themselves in front of an audience to share something, to share their skill set, to share their knowledge, to share their experience, and watch them succeed, there's nothing better, because I know what that feeling is like. And to be able to give that to somebody else is immeasurable, in my opinion.
Awesome. And anyone that goes into entrepreneurship to help people, you will be successful in it, right? Because you're not looking for a paycheck. But when you're helping people and you help so many people, they're going to eventually be your marketing for you, right? And then the money follows.
I'd say more of my clients, since I've been doing this, have come from referrals of people that I've worked with, and we've had a positive experience, and then they'll turn around and be like, you got to work with this guy, you know, or I'm their go-to person. If anyone inquires and says, hey, we need somebody who works in public speaking and communications, and they're like, we're connecting you with Brian. And it still blows my mind still. Like, it's been so new when I get those messages or emails. Like, I'm going to do an email intro between you and so-and-so. They're looking for somebody, and I'm truly flattered when that happens, because I don't expect it. You know, I think I do have a huge benefit having worked in an industry where I there's no expectation. I cannot expect anyone to book me, hire me, cast me, make me famous. I can't. So anytime it does happen, it's truly a surprise.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so let's switch gears and talk a little bit about Charlotte in the community.
Okay.
So how long have you been in Charlotte?
The better part of my entire adult life. I went to Catawba College in Salisbury, which I think I already said. And then shortly after I graduated, I moved to Charlotte when, the acting career started. And I was here until I moved. When you're an actor, you have to go to LA at some point. You have to go to New York at some point. So I did. I ventured out to Los Angeles in 1999. I did not like it. I did not stay. I was only there for 7 or 8 months. I really didn't enjoy the West Coast. No offense, West Coast listeners. That was my fault, not yours. I went out there very unprepared, very, just stupidly, uninformed. And so it was a great life experience, but a professional experience, no, it didn't suit me. And then I went to New York for about 4 years, right up until the very end of 2011. And I still had my acting business. The foundation of it was still here in Charlotte because my agents were here. My support group was here. My network of clients was here. And this is when flights from Charlotte to LaGuardia were really affordable and inexpensive. Remember when flights used to be affordable?
Yes.
So it was easy to kind of go back and forth from New York to Charlotte if I needed to. So I took the leap and got an apartment in Brooklyn and lived in New York for a little while. But I still had a house here. I still had, a client base here. So I was still working out of Charlotte, even though my address was in New York. So I've been connected to Charlotte pretty much since I graduated from college.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I've seen it change a lot.
A lot. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I was having a conversation with a woman yesterday who used to live in Ballantyne, and I said, I remember when there was no Ballantyne.
No Ballantyne.
Ballantyne was not a place. Right. No, it was a neighborhood that got built.
Right.
Yeah.
And now look at it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Amazing. Even Huntersville, they're doing so much out there.
Mm-hmm. That new arts complex that's there, right in on Catawba Avenue. Is that where it is? Isn't that where it is?
I think it is. Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's growing. It's crazy. And houses are popping up.
Yep.
Townhouses are going anywhere they can
Everywhere.
fit it.
Oh my gosh.
So it's interesting. All right. So how has being based in Charlotte influenced your coaching practice and the types of clients you attract?
I have no idea how to answer that question. Being in Charlotte, I mean, I just know that there's a huge need for it everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte obviously is a big corporate and professional city.
Mm-hmm.
The banking buildings alone. Obviously, there's the Bank of America building right there. But there's a lot of business opportunities here. So the need is everywhere. And the more that I work on this, and the more that I meet people and I'm introduced to people, the more I realize, it's neat. I don't care what business you're in. Mm-hmm. The need for speaking and communications is everywhere. So that's encouraging. At the same time, it's also showing me that there are a lot more companies and individuals doing, what I'm doing or offering public speaking and communication skills training than I thought or expected. But it also helps me to believe and trust that there's plenty for everybody, because everywhere I look, there's a need for it. Now, again, it's not to say that I'm the right fit for everybody. I know that I'm not. So it's been trying to find those places, as I said before, where I do fit in and where somebody does need it. And it's just finding that right timing, or, hoping to get that right timing where you meet that person who needs it right at that moment.
Exactly.
They're willing to have that conversation. They're open and to acknowledge that, yeah, we really do need to get better at this stuff. Our people are not, performing the way that we want them to. So I'm really encouraged that there are truly opportunities everywhere. I am surrounded by them. And I can't see that changing anytime soon. I can't see it, all of a sudden drying up where it's like, no, Brian, there's no need for anyone to be able to communicate or speak ever. I think it's only going to continue to increase. So that's encouraging. I think there's a lot of opportunities for a lot of people.
Absolutely. And I love that you said, there's enough out here for everybody, but that doesn't mean that everyone, I think sometimes people come into entrepreneurship thinking that they're going to be the go-to, right?
Sure.
But there's somebody for everybody.
Yep.
And even though there's lots of competition, there's only one you.
Right.
And so that's why I love that that's what you bring to the table.
A great example of that is I was working with a coaching group earlier this year, and there was another woman who was in the group who was also a public speaking and communications trainer and corporate communications trainer. And there was that initial gut reaction of, oh, she's the competition. And I know that she kind of thought the same thing. And we both just said, do you want to grab coffee sometime?
I love that.
And so it was like, and there, I think, at least for me, there was certainly a mindset of, okay, let's see what this is all about. Let me see what I'm up against. And she and I almost immediately realized there is plenty for everybody.
Right.
And we've become really, really good friends. We support each other at every turn. We really, really do. We check in with each other. We encourage each other. We support each other. She took one of my workshops. I came out to her networking event that she put on. We're trying to find opportunities to collaborate together. It doesn't have to be competitive. I certainly am a big believer in the more that I'm willing to give and share to others, it will come back.
Exactly.
It will come back. How can it not? And if nothing else, it's like, man, if I can help somebody else succeed, even if they're going to end up taking business away from me, then this is another thing that I learned in the acting business. Then that was never meant to be mine to begin with. It was not. It was never meant to be mine. So there can't be any animosity. There can't be any hard feelings, or frustration of, man, that should have been me. No, you were meant to help them succeed in that moment.
Exactly.
So.
I love that. I love that you said that. So collaboration over competition.
Yes.
Awesome. So, and I was just going to ask that too. So do you collaborate with other local businesses or creatives in Charlotte, and how has that benefited your business?
Oh my gosh. Constantly. Yes. Because Charlotte is a very creative city. I know that I was talking to you about this before we started the interview, but there is, and I can't believe I'm pitching them, but I'm going to do it anyway. And these guys will laugh because they know. There's a nonprofit called Charlotte is Creative, and my friend Matt Olin and Tim Miner started this nonprofit because Matt and I we're family, and we lived in New York City at the same time. We met through the theater world when he was producing manager for the now defunct Charlotte Repertory Theater, which no longer exists. And Matt's a very, very creative spirit and person. And when he came back to Charlotte, he wanted to start the Charlotte chapter of Creative Mornings because he knew that there was a creative community here that was underrepresented and undersupported, and he wanted to help build that and to really shine a light on the fact that there are a lot more creative people here than I think people were aware of, because it is such a big financial, banking, corporate city, but there's more to the people than just what's on their business card. People are not their titles. And I don't think a lot of people really had the opportunity to express that or display that before there was a group of people or an organization of people who said, no, please tell us about your creative side. I really feel like, before 10 to 15 years ago, I don't think a lot of people in Charlotte were encouraged to express their creative side.
Right.
And they're everywhere because the city keeps growing and growing. There's got to be creativity in there. We're not all robots yet.
Right.
Yet.
Right. Right. And you're absolutely right, because now we're seeing more of the murals coming up.
Yeah.
There's, I think, 2 on the building that's on 4th Street that are beautiful. I'd love to see them.
I know.
And so I don't think we would have seen that.
Right.
In previous years, decades ago.
Yep.
So I love to see all of the art, all of the collaboration in the creatives that are here in the city. So that's awesome. So what's one key piece of advice you'd give someone looking to improve their public speaking skills?
Ask for help.
I love it.
Yeah, ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. If you're finding yourself in a position to where if you're an entrepreneur and you've got to get your message out and you're not confident in doing so and you don't know where to start or how it's going to be received, then ask for help, because there are a lot of people out there. There are a lot of people out there who can help you get over that hump. And even if you are an experienced speaker and communicator, I think that because technology, everybody's got a message, everybody's trying to promote themselves, everybody can do things for less because it's so easy to, please know that I'm saying this with all due respect. Anybody with a camera can become a movie maker. Anybody, with GarageBand on their laptop can make an album. Anybody who, wants to self-publish on Amazon can be an author. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's wonderful, but I think it's created it's good enough mentality. It's good enough. So if everything is good enough, then how do you stand out from everybody else? So I want to encourage those people to push themselves to want to level up. Otherwise then everybody's going to be the same.
Exactly.
And that's not good for anyone. Yeah, we want to be supportive and encouraging and helpful to everybody, but at the same time, we can't be complacent with, it's good enough. No, then where do we go? How do we grow?
Exactly.
So be open to continuing to grow, continuing to get better, seeing what you can do to improve, to separate yourself from everybody else. Otherwise, you will get lost and it will seem overwhelming and daunting.
Exactly. No, that was a great answer. I love that.
Thank you.
So where do you see the future of public speaking heading, and then with the rise of virtual presentations?
Well, I mean, with the rise of virtual presentations means, again, that's just another example of it's everywhere. It's everywhere. You have to be, if you're presenting, whether it's, on Zoom or live in person, it's happening more and more and more and more. So people are finding themselves in a position to where they have to present or speak. And it's not, presenting and speaking is not just about delivering information. It's about sharing a message, a thought, an idea, an experience. It's not just, that's why it's called public speaking. It's not called public narration. It's not called public reading. It's public speaking. And when we speak, we engage. Human to human speaking is a conversation. It's a two-way street. And how you deliver that message is what makes the difference. There's this, I don't do statistics very much, and anyone who has been in any of my workshops or seen me speak should be familiar with the idea that I'm not a big fan of visual aids. I can't stand them. I understand that they're needed and necessary, but to me, that's an easy out for the presenter to be like, I don't really have to do anything. I'm just going to show you a bunch of stuff, and then you can take it from. No, you came to see me. Public speaking, presenting. I don't care if it's in person or virtually. It is a visual medium. You're looking at that computer screen. It's no different than watching TV. It's my job as the presenter to keep your attention, to stay engaged with you the entire time. So if I go on autopilot and I'm just going, this is this and that is that, so I'm here today to tell you that you're already gone. Right. You're already checking your Instagram account. You've turned your screen off. You're folding laundry. You're doing whatever. And again, that might be good enough for some people. But if for any company or organization that's allowing their people, this sounds like I'm shaming people and I don't mean to, but I mean, if they're accepting that, then I feel that they're probably losing out on the level of results that they can achieve. When you keep people the more people that you can keep engaged during your presentation, the greater results you're going to have. The more it's going to stick with people. You're going to keep their interest. They're going to want to learn more. They're going to want to find out what else you have going on or how else you can help them, as opposed to, I'm just trying to get through it.
Right.
And let me know when you're done.
Right.
Because I'm going to send you this PDF and an email after anyway. Then why did we do this?
Right.
You know? So yeah, I'm glad that you didn't go into whole like how's AI going to do it, because honestly, that I have no idea.
Yeah,
I don't know what AI is going to do. Whatever, we could all be gone and all of our jobs could be obsolete.
Right.
I have no idea. But the future of presenting, like I said, I think is only and speaking is only going to continue to grow. It's only going to continue to grow, and more people are having to do it. It's funny, you know, the gym where I go to. I was talking to one of the guys in the lobby before the workout class started, and we got into what I do for a living. And he was like, "Oh, I hate public speaking. I don't like being in front of an audience." He's like, "So that's really not my bag." And then just the other day, he was like, "So I'm going to go and do this virtual workshop." And like he does it all the time. And I'm like, "How do you say that you do it all the time?" So it's just an example that it's everyone at some point or another is going to have to speak in front of other people. Exactly. Everyone. It is unavoidable. So I don't know what else to say about that. So, you know.
Awesome. Alrighty. And so what's next for Brian LaFontaine Coaching? Are there any upcoming projects or goals that you're excited about?
Well, I mean, goals are just to keep it going and to continue to see what this could lead to, how it could open up. I mean, I have some corporate workshops coming up that I'm trying to put together for clients. I have an individual who's asked me to come and speak for an event that she's putting on, hopefully in the middle of October. And, you know, I've got some workshops that I offer workshops on a semi-regular basis, just open to the public, of like, you know, hey, yeah, you want to come and work on your public speaking skills, whatever it might be. And I try to change it up a little bit every time. I'm thinking about putting one together specifically for people who want to do keynote speaking, who might have a speech that they're actually already working on, or that they want to, you know, pull out of the dustbin and brush off and polish it up again and take it back out. Because I enjoy working with those people who want to do that kind of TEDx style of speaking, because it is a lot more of a performance and it is more theatrical. You are in that kind of theater setting. So it really does lend itself to more of the storytelling and using your sense of humor and your experience to share your message with a way that's a more entertaining and human connected, as opposed to what can be very, you know, here's our data report for this month and our business report, and here's what the bottom line says, so we've got to read this pie chart. All of that stuff is necessary, and I understand that it has to be done. But if you had to choose between one that you wanted to truly listen to over the other, which one would you rather listen to? Yeah, one that's going to be a bit more entertaining, which is where my skill set, the strength of my skill set really does lie there.
So
yeah.
That's exciting. So where can we find you? How can we reach out to you?
You can find me. As I said, you can find me on Instagram or LinkedIn. Just type in my name. You'll find it there. Or you can go to my website at brianlafontaine.com. You're going to see all of my acting information. Just look for the speaking coaching tab, or you can just go to brianlafontaine.com/. Speaking coaching, I think that's what it is. And yeah, you can find me there. I think that's it. You can go to IMDb. Look at my IMDb page if you want. Find clips there and things. So yeah.
Exciting. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. This was such an amazing conversation.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm glad it was, because otherwise I'm in trouble if it wasn't. Actually, I really appreciate you having me, George. It's so great. This has been wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Thank you. Awesome. So as we wrap it up, it was a pleasure speaking with Brian today. So if you need help with public speaking, you have a workshop, any type of event that you are putting on, and you want to shine, you want to do your best, put on your best performance, please contact Brian.
Thanks very much.
Yes. And so we're going to wrap it up. And until next time.